Hello everyone, welcome to Hoft Academy webinar. Today we have very interesting topic about the CFO skills of the future. So I'm sure you're gonna learn a lot of things about what are the needed skills for the modern CFO. Let me give you a quick brief about Hoft Academy. So Hoft Academy is the premier destination for executive education in finance, strategy, and digital transformation for the next generation leaders. We are specialized in executive education, and we are providing different certificates and the program for executive education. The key ones are the Certified International FP&A. The second one is the Certified CFO, and the third one is the Certified Chief Strategy Officer, and we have many other certificates and programs. We trained more than 6,000 participants across more than 30 countries. We have more than 30 trainers and our headquarters in the UAE, and we have also other offices in the KSA and UK. These are our world-class trainers. As you see, we have different trainers, came from different industries, and all of them are industry practitioners. So we are keen to have trainers who has a real industry practitioners, not only academic ones. Our strategic partners, we have very key strategic partners like PwC Academy, European International University, Association of Financial Professionals, Forefront, and many other partners. These are our clients. And let's start our interesting webinars, and we will start with the key interesting topic, which is about the merger and acquisitions for CFOs. Over to you, Ahmed.
Yes, thank you, Mohammed. First of all, I'd like to welcome with all the attendees, and I'd like to express my gratitude for being here today. Yeah, when we speak about the M&A has become one of the most afterthought skill for the modern CFO. Now, a lot of companies get ready for either sell side by side, get into some kind of strategic transaction. And when we call it a strategic transaction, this is the kind of transactions that change the structure of the business, how the revenue and the earnings are being made, and the form of the corporate in itself. Any M&A transaction has a standard process. It could be a little shorter or taller based on the complexity of the business, the readiness of the both sides, the sell side and the buy side, and the availability of the information. But generally, we can say that the standard M&A process have a key five processes. Number one starts with the deal strategy, and under the deal strategy, we assess whether is it the fit or the best fit option to go through inorganic growth mode by acquiring another company or not. This is the major question that we need to answer. This drag and grab a lot of questions, whether relating to the funding, the operation, the synergies, the management capabilities, technology, market demanding, market supply, and market forces. All of this being answered under the first stage, which we usually call the deal structure. Number two, it's preparation. During the preparation, we start seeking for the whether we are buy side or sell side. We start to communicate with the target slash the buyer. We have a company that we need to acquire, and this is the time to set up the key targets of this company. What are the key metrics? Where the company is operating? What are the key products? What are the deal breakers that we need to find in this company? Once we align aligned and reach out with some of the target companies. This is usually become to the qualification to manage the manageable number of the targets. Once we get in contact with these companies, we sign the regulatory documents relating to the NDA and so on, receive their teasers, and we start to go for the third phase, which is the valuation. And under the valuation, we are running not only the valuation model, we run the whole financial modeling relating to the transaction, where we run the spreading valuation using the discounted cash flow, trading multiples, precedent transaction, and any other commercial, run a lot of analysis, run the M&A model to assess whether the transaction will be accretive or dilutive. Are we still good to go with the deal or not? What is the walk-away point of the evaluation? What is the funding requirements, and what are the constraints on the deal? Usually, this happens based on the initial information we received from the target management company, and based on the available information from the public domain. Once we agree on the key terms of the transaction, we start to share what we usually call letter of intention, or a non-binding offer to the company that we are serious about acquiring your company with these key terms. This starts to go for the due diligence. The receiving company agrees and give us a green light to start performing our due diligence process. Under the due diligence process, we usually conduct the financial due diligence, legal due diligence, tax due diligence, another due diligence scope required, such as commercial and IT and HR if needed. It depends upon the complexity and the nature of the business in itself, and whether you are a strategic acquirer or you are a financial sponsor. Once the financial due diligence process has been done, the due diligence reports prepared and the key findings have been summarized, and this should be reflected in two things. Either the findings should be reflected in the valuation input, where we need to adjust our valuation based on the due diligence finding, like normal working capital and net debt, any item that has not been identified in the financial statement that have been found and adjusted by the due diligence, and this directly reflect to the valuation. Or there is some kind of reps and warranties and risks that we need to cover and mitigate. And lastly, we take this to the deal closing phase, which we usually call the signing of the shareholder agreement, the SPA. And this we took all the key finding in the due diligence report to the SPA, which stands for the sales purchase agreement. We document each thing that we came across in the due diligence. We document the purchase price, what we are purchasing, what are the key risks available there. The management are providing us with a representation that has provided us with the whole information about the company, and we document there any key findings relating to the risks and contingent liabilities that might arise after acquiring and assuming the power of the company. This is all some kind of risk sharing to ensure that both the seller and the buyer are on the same boat. So when we talk about the M&A transaction, as mentioned earlier, it takes a few months. That's why this is kind of a strategic transaction. Next slide, please. If we go to the next slide, we can see that the slide talks about the tenor of the transaction. The typical transaction takes on average from 8 months to 1 year. It depends about, as mentioned, the complexity of the company, the nature of the business, readiness of both sides, and the availability of the information. A lot of the phases are overlapped with other. Sometimes we go back to amend our strategy based on the finding of the company, and definitely once the due diligence process and the due diligence phase is subsequent to the evaluation, but we still have to go back and adjust our valuation based on the due diligence finding. and a lot of things that has been developed into the deal strategy, the first stage, needs to be considered into the SPNA, which is the last phase. And sometimes we go back from the end of the deal to amend our strategy based on the key finding as found in the due diligence. In a nutshell, the M&A, the strategic tool that modern CFO has no way to ignore this. A lot of companies get either sell side or buy side or even IPO, which I consider it's some kind of M&A. And this becomes crucial for every CFO to know the process, the key risks, how to involve, and what is their role into this involvement. Yeah, this is in a nutshell how it works. Yeah, Mohammed.
Thank you, Ahmed, for the great introduction about the merger and acquisition and its importance for the CFO. So thank you very much, Ahmed. And now we have another important skills for the CFO, which is the leadership. Leadership is an essential part for the next generation CFO, and Dr. Rania will take us through the next generation leadership for CFOs. Over to you, Rania.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mohammed, for this intro. And I would like first to welcome the attendees. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining today's webinar on a topic that is really crucial to your success as a financial leaders and knowing the essential qualities of effective leadership tool. This is Rania Leila. I'm training manager and leadership coach. And I'm really so excited to share some insights that can empower you to enhance your leadership capabilities and to drive your organizations forward. As of course, CFOs, you are not just the stewards, number crunchers of the financial health of the company. You are crucial. You are pivotal in shaping the culture and direction of your organization as well. Today, we will explore the key leadership qualities that can transform your teams and organizations. And we will discuss not only what these qualities are, but also the tangible benefits that they bring, supported by real-world examples. So let's get started. John Maxwell once said, leadership is not about titles or positions or flow charts. It's about one life influencing another. So do you agree on this? Actually, I have like another opinion. Leadership is about one life influencing another and to make others support their titles, maybe enhance their positions more and more and make targets and achieve their aims and goals of the organization as well. Next, please. And we will deal with the qualities of the leader, but from the back. So I need to ask you this question, and please have some time to reflection. What are the ineffective qualities of the leader? Not effective qualities, but ineffective qualities. And actually, I have many answers from previous trainees. Could you please just press yes? Some people say that lack of credibility, they are not organized, micromanaged, they have this kind of lack of time management, they can't like manage their time wisely, they are so aggressive and taking the credit of the team. They incompetent and they have this kind of egoistic thing. And of course, as we all know that there is a very thin line between ego and confidence. So having this time of reflection, these are the qualities that we are as a leader, financial leaders, do not want to have. We need to have this kind of credibility, be more organized, and of course, all the opposite of these qualities. Next, please. Now, let's go through the effective qualities of influential leader. You will see here, like, number one, they are very caring. They are very visionary, have a vision. They are agile, charismatic, helpful, competent, and also they are influencer, advisor, courageous, self-management. They have this kind of thing. They can manage themselves fully, powerfully, and they are support. And I want to shed more lights on support. I want to have this word like underlined, how to support others, how to be the supporting system for your team. It's a really crucial part. And this is not my words. It's like many complaints that come from many clients. They just complain about our leaders does not support us. So what shall we do? So when it comes to support, it's really crucial thing. And of course, inspirational. Next, please. And here, let's move to the real qualities of CFOs, leaders. They need to get a vision, and compelling vision here is fundamental. Could you please just move the slide? Vision here is very fundamental to effective leadership. It involves the ability to articulate clear and inspiring direction. So it's really crucial to have a vision, to have this foresight thing. Of course, when it comes to communication, how to communicate your vision. They are all like interconnected. They are all connected, completing each other. How to communicate this vision to your team, feeling empathy. And I need to shed more lights when it comes to empathy. Empathy is really crucial, but you have to pay attention to the extreme as well. So we have this scale, maybe from 1 to 10, 1 is the least, 10 is the highest. Some people don't have any kind of empathy. Some people empathetic, and the other people like having the extreme. They are so too empathy, and it is not very effective leaders as well. So these are the qualities of leadership. Next, please. And of course, we have more when it comes to the integrity, how to encompasses with trust, how to build the trust rapport with your team. It's the corner or the cornerstone. And of course, the adaptability thing and decisiveness. And before going through these kinds of qualities, each of which has many other skills. So there are some qualities of leadership, and each of which many skills. If we just take like the communication quality, for example, next slide, please. As communication is very effective quality and a skill for the leaders as well, there are many other skills. If you just say listening skills, influencing, how to be influencer, and I just mean here by influence this kind of impact, a great impact on the thoughts and emotions and behaviors and actions of your team. It's a really crucial thing. Presentation skills, how to present, how to express your ideas, express your messages, how to express how to deliver some presentations when it comes to communicating your message or your vision, or maybe the target, coaching skills. And of course, when it comes to coaching, now you need to coach yourself first. And we will go through our course, like many assessments, many coaching tools that can benefit you personally as a CFO leader. And also you can benefit and have this great impact on your team as well. And of course, delivering feedback, and it's a crucial thing, and managing others. So we will work more on managing oneself first, and then how to manage others and influence others. If we talk about listening levels, and I just need you to look at these kind of levels and have this time for reflection as well. It's very important where you are now on this scale. Are you now like passive listener? You don't care about what's going on in front of you. I have this client, and she was female, and she always complains about her peers that they are trying to ruin her work. They are trying to ignoring her and all these things. And we went talked things over and asked her, okay, what about your manager? She said that he doesn't care about us. He doesn't listen to us. He doesn't care only about the results. That's all what he just care about. And he just said it in the face. He said this to us in a very direct way. She was very disappointed because of this. So passive listening, it's a very negative skill. It's a very negative, maybe for leaders, So the first one is passive, pretending listening. So I pretended to listen to you, but now maybe my mind elsewhere. The third level is selective now, and we going through these situations maybe in our social life as well, and of course in our career professional life, that we just select some kind of information in the process. So we have this kind of communication Maybe we are in a meeting, maybe we're just talking in any topic, and then somebody just select some data, and maybe he just fill in the gaps with his own mind, with his own opinions, and this force lead to bad communications, not effective communication at all. So to be a good communicator and to have this kind of quality, you need to improve the listening skills. But first, you will know which level you are in, whether you passive or pretend that you're listening to others. You are just select some data, or maybe you are active listener. You need now, or you just listen attentively to people, to your team, and know exactly what are the feeling behind their talking or the words to you, what is going on in their minds and hearts and soul. It's very crucial to be good listener. And the third, or the last level, empathetic, when it comes to empathy. So now I listen to you to understand your emotions between the lines. And now the words you say, the words you utter, and in the same exact thing, the words that just holds in your heart. So I will listen to this too. So it's very important to improve your listening skills. Next, please. Yeah, of course, when I just said that having some reflect or something like this, just put this scale from 1 to 10 and try to reflect on the skills of the listening. When it comes to ethos, pathos, logos, and I'm here talking about how to influence others, how to persuade them with your vision, with your emotions, with your ideas, with everything you said, and make them just follow you. You need maybe to follow this small technique. It's Aristotle technique when it comes to how to persuade others. And he just said that he called it pillars for persuasion, ethos, pathos, logos. So if I just want to persuade you, I have to show some of my credibility. If I'm just now CFO leader and I want to influence you, have this great impact, influence you, I have to show my credibility as a charismatic leader, as maybe with my thoughts, with my ideas, with my strong opinions, with my knowledge. I need to show some of my credibility. And then I may just show you some of like emotion, maybe tell you successful story, inspire you with something. Maybe I support you in your weakness points. Maybe just using this element to persuade you more with my opinion, with my ideas, with my effort. And then, of course, the most important thing, and because you are CFO leaders, it's about the logic. So the logos part or the logic pillar, it's very important. It's crucial in persuasion. So I have to persuade you with maybe some tangible results on ground, or just I have some, yes, tangible results or targets or some numbers, statistics, any kind of things that can talk to your mind with some numbers to persuade you with maybe the vision, maybe my opinion, my thought, my idea, whatever. So it's very important to have this kind of qualities if you want to enhance and improve more of your leadership qualities, and of course work more on these skills, influencing skills, presentation skills, communication skills, listening skills. And that's it. Thank you so much. Back to you, Mr. Muhammad.
Thank you, Rania, for the very interesting session and talking about the qualities of leadership for all the finance professionals and CFO. So it was very, very interesting and informative session. Now moving to another important part for the CFO, which is the strategic part. How the CFO be a strategic business partner to the business and being the right-hand side for the CEO. Sometimes we see a new title for the CFO, which is called Chief Future Officer, which is about how the CFO be a person who is driving the strategy, helping the CEO in formulating, executing the strategy for the company. Now moving to Dr. Islam, he's gonna take us through the strategic planning process. And over to Islam.
Okay, I think we're done with this part. I think you should, yes. Okay, thank you, Muhammad, for the great intro. I'm happy to be with you, everyone. Let me tell you this. Basically, through my work in strategy consulting with different sizes of companies, we have two players inside the company who can make or break the strategy. if they understand the strategy, if they're involved in the strategy, if they contribute enough and make sure that their effort is consolidated to make this strategy work, everything works. These two pillars that we call pillars is the HR and the finance. If we have a strong finance professional on the table, if you have a strong department that can turn the strategies into budgets, into forecasts, and integrate the strategic views of the management with the financial plans, magic happens. So it's very, very essential for future CFOs to be strategy practitioners, to have the know-how, to have the capability, to have the skills of not only strategic planning, but also strategic thinking. So having the mix of strategic leadership is, or actually is not, is it became crucial, as Muhammad was saying, for future CFOs. So let me take you through my part today is what is strategy? Strategy is a very, very widely used word. It's used in different contexts with actually sometimes with different meanings, and we need to align on one definition or some sort of collective understanding for what the word strategy means. So in most basic form, strategy is about answering the question how to move from one point to another. If you have a current status as a business or as a person or as a team, and you have a future status that you want to reach in the near future or in the far future, you have multiple choices to make. You have multiple directions, multiple choices that you can make to move from the current point to the future point. So these choices is what we call strategy. So strategy in its more core part or core meaning is the answer to the question how. And when we say how, we mean the question, what are your choices and what the choices are you going to make and what choices you're going to refuse to reach your destination. So that's basically what strategy means. And in one of the nice definitions of a strategy is what A.G. Lafley said in his book Playing to Win. It's the core of strategy is answering two questions: where to play and how to win. I think that's the most famous answer nowadays. It's interesting because it really answers the core of strategy, and the heart of the choices is choosing where to play and how to win. I will continue with this. Okay. The question is how strategic planning, how to implement and how to work on strategic planning. And that's very essential, as CFOs should understand their role in the strategic planning. And to understand their role and their contribution to strategic planning, they need to understand the full flow or the full steps of strategic planning. And there are a lot of frameworks and a lot of definitions. And here we want to distill all the complex frameworks into some sort of the baseline framework that helps anyone to understand strategy and to contribute effectively. So the main 4 steps for strategy are four main steps. So the foundation part, and that's the conceptual step. We'll take it in depth more in few minutes. So the foundation is the conceptual part. Where do we stand? Where do we want to go? What's our vision? What's our mission? Where's the North Star? So it's basically the conceptual part, and that's the foundational component of the strategy. After understanding the foundation, we move to the situation analysis, understanding the dynamics, understanding the situation, how things are going around us, and how things are going inside our company, which enables us to move to the 3rd step, which is the strategy selection, choosing the choices that we want to pursue as a strategy, which is answering the 2 questions that we talked about, where to play and how to win. And eventually, in the 4th step, turning all of these choices into clear objectives, targets, measures, and of course, execution plans to monitor and to review from time to time to make sure that our strategy is on track. So these are the 4 main steps. But let me talk about the foundation. I'll take every step and give a bit of insights about every step. So let's take the foundation part. The foundation part is basically answering key 5 components, which is the who we are question. What type of company are we? What are we providing? To whom? How? What's different? And what's unique about us? That's the first question. Then the purpose part, which looks like the mission, which is it's the inspiring answer behind why do we exist? What impact are we making? How are we helping our clients? And then moving to the winning aspiration, which is, resembles the vision of the company, how success looks like. How would you describe a successful company? So that's the third component. The fourth component is the North Star. North Star is a conceptual component which tries to formulate your success picture into a number or into a couple of numbers. So the North Star is the most important number that you want to focus on as a company, which you can share with all your employees and all your stakeholders to guide your decisions. And finally, the core values, which is basically the components or the elements that shape your company culture. So having these 5 components in place, then your foundation became a solid foundation. Sometimes when we talk to more junior finance executives, they ask, okay, why would I need to be in these conceptual components? I want numbers, I want budgets, I want targets. And when we meet more senior finance executives, they say, yes, we need to be in this conceptual part because our involvement in the conceptual part helps us in the execution and the debates that we will have with different executives. It's not only about the numbers, it needs to be about the conceptual component, and it needs to be about the high level views and thinking patterns that the company needs to think about. So that's very essential as a baseline. So that's the foundation part. Moving to situational analysis, after putting the foundation, we need to understand what is the situation. So basically what we do is we analyze the situation that we have on 3 levels. The macro level, which is the geopolitical dynamics, whatever impacting us from the outside, and it's relevant to economy, maybe relevant to the politics. So understanding all the dynamics, external dynamics. The micro environment, which focuses on the industry. How is the industry working? Where are the opportunities? What are the challenges that we have in our industry with our competition, with our buyers, with our suppliers, from different perspectives? And finally is the internal environment, which focuses on the internal capabilities. What can we do well? What are our challenges? What we need to develop in order to be competent to deal with the dynamics or the intentions or the aims that we want to pursue. So in the 3 levels that we have here in the analysis, basically we look at the macro level from tools like the step analysis or the PESTEL analysis. If you want to look at the micro level, there are multiple tools. Maybe the most famous one is the Porter 5 forces. That's the most famous one. Of course, there are other tools. And finally, the internal analysis, we have multiple tools like the valuation analysis, maybe, or McKinsey 7S. You have multiple tools to understand the internal analysis. So by going through all these tools, you generate what we call the corporate SWOT. So sometimes people ask, okay, is SWOT a tool? In strategy, we always challenge this question because for us, SWOT is a very shallow tool as a tool, but it's a great tool for coordination, for arrangement. So whatever the ideas that we get from the macro level analysis, like the STEP or the Porter 5 forces or the value chain analysis, we plot the opportunities, the threats, the strengths, and the weaknesses. But we never get into our company and ask them, okay, what are your strengths or what are the opportunities that we have? That would be a very shallow question. Maybe someone would do it in a very quick context. They want to generate something quickly. They're doing it on a departmental level, or they are having a very, very quick workshop. Fine, you can do it in this context. However, in a comprehensive strategy exercise, SWOT for us is not an analysis tool. It's more of an arrangement tool. So now we have the different, we have our understanding of the situation. We move to the strategy selection. And we have multiple levels of strategy. And this will be, again, this is a quick debate here in this part, and I will share it with you. So basically, there's a corporate level. The corporate level, which tackles the overall mindset of the company, how the company is going to pursue the future, how it's thinking. Is it thinking of growth? Is it thinking of stability? Or maybe shrinking? So that's the high level view. Are we going to be followers? Are we going to be leaders? How the company is thinking, which takes us to the next level, which is the business level. How are we going to compete in the market? How are we going to win? That's the first question that we asked. Where's the plan how to win? That's how to win. How are we going to compete? How are we stay competitive? The third choice is about the directional level. Directional level is where to play. What should we do? What should we pursue? What are the paths that we should choose? What are the offerings that we should provide to our customers? So that's where the directional level comes. There's a big debate here about having the functional level as part of the levels of strategy, but the counter argument says functions should have objectives and execution plans rather than strategy. Strategy is for the company. But of course, sometimes you have a strategy for departments, and that's fine. But yeah, I'm from the side that says keep the strategy naming for the company level, and for functions, keep it into objectives and plans, so we can have one strategy. We don't have the question of what strategy are you talking about? No, we're talking about the company-wide. But fine, sometimes they turn the plans into, give it the word strategy. Eventually, it's a how question, so it's fine. So these are the levels that we go through. Of course, every tool or every level here has its own tools, has its own choices. So after having our choices, we can here integrate the financial business planning. That's after doing the strategic choices, we have our assumptions. Our business assumptions can help us integrate the financial business planning. So we always talk with the CFO of the company and says, okay, you need to be with us all the steps. So when we reach the strategic choices, you can contribute, you can have your say in the financial business planning. You're not building the financial business planning just from some high level assumptions that we have no reference to. But no, we have reference to the build-up that you will have for the financial business plan. So that's where the financial business plan integrate with the strategy. Once we reach the selection, we go to the execution. And the execution, we have what we call the tactical planning. How are we going to implement our directions? So it's basically, okay, let me get back. I think we're going forward while I'm trying to get back. Okay, so tactical planning is how are we going to execute this? Whatever the strategy that we have, what are the milestones, what are the tactics, what are the actions, what are the resources required, and so on. So that's how we execute. And then we have what we need to set, which is the objectives. There are multiple options of objectives. I'll not take you through this because my time became limited, but that's the high level of types of objectives. But what we call here, and maybe what I can stop at, is what we call the balanced scorecard. I believe that's one of the famous tools that everyone has been through, which is having objectives for the company on the financial level, on the customer level, on the internal business, and the learning and growth. So having clear measures for our strategy, which have something like this, where we have objectives with clear KPIs that resemble our strategy. So these were the 4 steps that every strategy should go through to reach an executable thing, and that's where execution kick in for a successful strategy implementation. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much, Islam, for the very informative session about the strategic planning and its importance for the CFO. So thank you, Islam.
Thank you.
And moving to the 4th part, which is related to one of the important skills for the CFO, which is data storytelling. Actually, many finance professionals, including CFOs, FP&As, and finance managers, they are very good in building the numbers, slides, reports, dashboards, everything. I don't see any issue from finance people to build presentations. But the challenge here is how to present the data in a high engaging way, how to influence others to make decisions, how to make your presentation or your story or your numbers clear, precise, actionable, and inspire people to take actions. This is why one of the most important skills for CFOs is data storytelling. Let me quickly take you through the key elements of data storytelling and its importance. So, as you know, data without story is boring, right? When you present numbers and numbers, balance sheet, cash flow, accounts receivables, only talk about number, people usually get very, bored from our presentation, right? Also, story without data, without facts is not impactful. Just people telling stories without any evidence, without any facts also is not impactful, right? But here, when we combine data with the story, this is the real things that engage people for actions. This is why in the data storytelling, we need to learn the skill of how to combine data with engaging story. To inspire people to take actions, we need to persuade people, right? So to persuade anyone, we need three things. If you would like to convince anyone, persuade anyone, you need three things. Number one, credibility. The person who is presenting to you should have a credibility. So as a finance people, I don't see any issue of that. We are knowledgeable. We know our business very well. We know our finance and accounting standards. We are good in our industry. We have a good personal branding. So credibility, I don't see any issue for CFOs to have this kind of credibility to present on or persuade people. Number two, we need a logic, right? To convince anyone, to persuade anyone, you need to have a logic, right? Like references, case studies, analysis, numbers, facts, and also we are as a finance people, we are talented in that area, right? We know how to build the analysis. We know how to build the evidence behind the numbers, how to support our numbers with all the needed analysis and evidence. But what is usually missed by the finance people? The third part, because finance people, usually people call them the left brain people, right? Because we always talk about facts, about numbers, but in most of cases, finance people miss the emotional part. How to inspire people, how to tell inspiring stories, how to engage people. And as you see in many, cases, if you are part of the leadership team in any company, usually when the marketing people present, people get engaged, and marketing usually use pictures and very engaging stories. So they are very talented in this area. Sales people also the same, HR sometimes. But when finance start to present, people look at mobile, people leave the office, bring a cup of tea or a cup of coffee. Why? Because it's very boring presentation, right? It's all about numbers. This is the most important part we need to develop as a finance people, which is the emotional parts. So what are the key components of the data story? There are three components for any data story. Number one, data. Definitely we need data. We need facts. We need evidence. Number two, we need visuals. We need to use charts and the graphs and pictures to visualize our message, to make it simple. So pictures or charts or graphs make the message more clear, more appealing, more engaging for people. Number three, narrative. Narrative or the story behind the numbers is very important also to engage people, let people think, let people imagine, which is very important. So when we combine data with visual, with narrative, really we can make that change, make an impact. Let me give you an example of any finance presentation. We are as a finance people, we usually start our presentation with numbers, actual performance, including the normal P&L, including gross sales, net sales, all the P&L elements. We usually compare our performance versus budget, versus forecast, versus prior year. And also we usually present the month-to-date performance, year-to-date performance, and we usually also include the year-to-go or the full year. Then we are as a finance people, we never keep any white space in our presentation. So we say, let's add some comments over here. Let's add some charts over here. So we always keep our slide very busy. Do you know how many numbers in this slide? Can you imagine how many numbers? And this is only one slide. Can you imagine? There are more than 700 numbers. Can you imagine? 700 numbers in one slide. And we, as a finance people, we usually build a management reporting deck or a performance reporting deck, which includes at least sometimes 50 slides, 70 slides, 100 slides. Can you imagine 700 numbers per slide multiplied by 100? So sometimes we present 70,000 numbers. And at the end of the presentation, we expect our audience to remember every number, every message we said. Can you imagine? Do you think that people will remember 70,000 numbers? And at the end of your presentation, your CEO said, thank you for your presentation. And your presentation, usually, you ask your team to work on it for 3 or 4 days. And after all of that efforts, the CEO asks you, thank you for your presentation. What is in it for me? Why? Because we presented 70,000 numbers, and you expect people to take actions. We expect people to get engaged. We expect people to inspire for action. Definitely, there is a big problem. So what we did is good for machine of finance, good for audit, good for many other stuff, but terrible to convince people, terrible to present an impactful message. This is terrible to convince people to take actions. This is why we have to change our way of presenting, our way of building our messages, our stories, our key important things. So what is the problem? We have to change, we have to transform our way of our presentation as a CFOs. We have to think of something more effective for communication, more engaging for our audience, and more important and influencing for decision making. So how can we change our way of financial presentation? The key things, and this is the most important slide for today, how we have to differentiate between data exploration and data explanation. We are, as a finance people, we spend too much time on data exploration, understanding relationships between numbers, understanding the variables, understanding the variances, understanding the trends, understanding the ratios, understanding many things. And this is called data exploration. And this should be our homework or our exercises before we present it to the management. But we shouldn't present our homework. We shouldn't present our analysis and our exploration. This should be done in our back office. But what we present to people, something completely different. So once you complete your analysis, your variance analysis, understanding the relationships, finding the key performance drivers, understanding the reasons behind the variances, understanding all the stuff related to your performance, you have to think, how can I present that? Shall I present to them all of this analysis? Definitely no. Shall I present all the numbers, all the findings? This is definitely no. This is why we shouldn't present what we call data exploration. What we have to present is data explanation. So after I complete my homework and my exercises and my analysis, I have to identify what are the key messages from my exercise. What are the key outcomes? I need immediate actions from the management. What are the top important numbers? What are the top important findings from my data exploration? And this is what I have to present to the management to make decisions. This is called data explanation. And I have to present them in a very effective way, using visuals, using the right stories, in a very engaging way. And then definitely I have to build my presentation and tell an impactful story. This is why we have to clearly differentiate between our homework as data exploration and data explanation. So what are the steps for data story? Number one, define your audience. When we say define your audience, it's not just understand their job titles or their position. It's about understanding the key things they are care about it. What is their business problems? What made them wake at night? What are the key things they need to see? What are the key actions I need from them? What is their persona? Do they like details or do they like high-level numbers? So I have to understand my audience and their intent very well. Number two, as I said, complete your analysis, complete your exercises, and find what are the most important top 3 numbers, top 3 messages. And sometimes we call it the elevator pitch. If you met your CEO in the elevator, and you have definitely a few seconds, right, in the elevator, and if the CEO asked you, what is our performance this month? What did we achieve this month? What did you achieve this quarter? Do you think you have time to explain to him 70,000 numbers? Definitely no. right? You have few seconds to explain to your CEO in the elevator. So definitely you have to think, what are the most important three things, three findings, three numbers I have to tell my CEO about. Number three, don't just present numbers. We have sales by 70 million. We have increase in OPEX by 10%. Don't just present numbers. We have to add the key drivers behind the numbers. What is the context behind the numbers? If I said our sales is 70 million, what does it mean? No meanings, right? But if I said that 70 million is double what we achieved last month, yeah, that's a very good performance. What we achieved is triple our competitors. That's a very good performance. When I said 70 million is 50% of what we achieved last year, definitely this is a very bad performance. So we have to add context behind our numbers. Number four, we have to visualize our data. You have to ensure that you are not just presenting to finance people. Sometimes in the board of directors or in the executive team, there are people who has no background, financial background, correct? So you have to simplify your message, your numbers in a very effective data visualization. This is why you have to select the right chart, eliminate clutter, eliminate noise from your slide, learn how to focus your audience attention, how to use colors, how to use font, and how to apply the best practice in design. Then we have to think about what is the story behind my numbers. It's not just about presenting numbers. People need to understand the stories. And by the way, people remember stories, but most of cases they don't remember numbers. At the end, you have to communicate your presentation in a very impactful way. This is why I will share with you the most effective way to make a memorable presentation. Number one, I will say it again and again, define your audience and their intent. Focus on only one story and one big idea per slide. Don't confuse people with many numbers, many stories in one slide. Number three, practice, practice, practice. And as I said many times, practicing is not about reading your slides. Practicing is about presenting same as exactly what you're gonna present in the live presentation with your audience. So present in front of camera, present in front of a mirror, present in front of your colleague, present in front of your husband or your wife or your friend or your colleague. Practice, practice, practice. This is very important, not just read your slide. Number four, when you start your presentation, give the audience reason to care about it. Today, I'm gonna talk about very important topic about blah, blah, blah. So start your presentation and grab their attention with a very important things that they care about it. Start your presentation by grabbing their attention, asking them engaging questions, new information, new things, anything that can grab their attention. Use the rule of three. Rule of three is very powerful. Marketing people using many people in the even in the political in the elections, many people use the rule of three, which is very, very powerful. Keep your presentation very simple. Don't assume everyone understands finance. Don't assume everyone understands the finance language. Keep it really stupid simple. Be the best version of yourself. Don't be the crap version of anyone else. Don't be like a shadow of anyone else. Be yourself. If you are a quiet person, present quietly. If you are an energetic person, present energetically. There is no issue of that. And speak the language of your audience. Don't speak our technical finance language. Don't tell them, as per IFRS 11, we have to do that. As per IFRS 16, we have... People doesn't understand our language. As per matching principles, as per the tax authorities guidelines, people doesn't understand this language. So please use a very simple business language in order to let people understand your presentation. And end your story with a call for actions. Any presentations without a call for actions is a waste of time. To ensure you end your presentation with a call for action. This is very quick tips if you would like to develop your skills in data storytelling and in presentation skills. I would like to recommend these two books, The Secrets of Steve Jobs, one of the best business presenters, and Data Storytelling by Cooley. She is one of the most global, powerful data storytellers. With that, I would like to thank you very much for your time, and let's move to the last part of our webinar. So would like to share with you our new upcoming CFO program. This is a global certified chief financial officer program. It's a 6 month program, consists of 5 modules. So each modules cover the most important skills that's needed by the CFO. So as a CFO, definitely you are definitely good in your technical aspects. You know how to build budgeting, planning, analysis, everything. But when it talks about being a CFO, you need a completely different skills. You need to be a strategic business partner to your CEO. You need to learn how to lead projects, lead people, lead transformation, which is a real impactful leadership skills. Also, as a CFO, nowadays, as you see, most of CFOs now got the opportunity to contribute to a merger and acquisitions projects, right? Many companies now is seeking for acquiring new companies. Some companies are acquired by other companies. Some two big companies combine together to have or to leverage the benefits of synergies. Also, digital transformation is very important for CFOs. Now, there is no CFO not required to understand digital transformation, how to use AI, how to use RPA, how to implement APM system, CPM system. So as a CFO, you need to leverage and improve your skills of digital transformation. And last but not least, corporate performance and reporting. You need to learn how to select the right CFO dashboard, how to build the KPIs for your organization, how to implement a performance management system in your organization. So those are the 5 important parts for the CFO. And I will leave the floor now to each one of our trainers to explain their part. So let's start with Islam. If you can give people brief about the strategic management part. Over to Islam.
Okay, yeah, I'm here. So yeah, briefly in our sessions, we'll be covering in details what I have explained briefly today. So basically, we'll pass through the strategic planning process to understand every and each component, how it's formulated, and how can you contribute to this component from the mainly the base understanding of strategy and how it works, to the foundation part and how it's built and how it's different in different companies, moving to the analysis and taking what we have discussed today into more details of the different levels and what are the tools used and what are the outcomes. And in the strategy selection, we take it to a more deeper level of the choices that we make and how do we do analysis to make these choices and how we compare the different directions that we have. Eventually, we will be talking about the objective setting and the different tools and the history of building objectives and the execution part of strategy. And in between, we'll be talking about how strategy works, how to make this strategy implementable and executable. And in between, what we will focus on would be how your contribution as a CFO would be in this process and how it would be of the most impact. So yeah, that's briefly will be the strategy module.
Thank you, Islam. And Rania, can you give us a quick brief about the leadership module?
Yes, for sure. Hello, it's me again. Inshallah, we'll go through our program. We'll start with this kind of processes and people and plans, 3 Ps of leadership. But we start with you as a CFO leader, with your mindset and the agility mindset, and how to feel this power of influence when it comes to improving your growth mindset, maybe personality, responsibility, of course, and self-motivation, personal growth. We'll go through many assessments and the case studies and also real examples, real life examples as well. And then we will move to how to cultivate authentic and purpose-driven relationship, your relationship with your team, how to navigate this, how to deal with difficult people, how to deal with difficult characteristics and kinds of personalities, and foster effective and influential communication strategies as well. And then we will harness this kind of strength and inspire and motivate others, authenticity, empathy, respect, many kind of values. We'll go through them in details. And how to establish an environment of psychological safety, motivation, and trust, building trust and being supporting system for your team. managing, controlling career challenging, preventing burnout, promoting accountability and transparency, emphasizing the power also of planning and execution. And of course, we can't ignore this kind of uncertain future proactively. So developing a strategic foresight and progressive adaptability and managing change management, resilience, forward thinking, innovation, and fostering a culture of innovation and experimentation and creativity, cultivating strategic thinking, and also encouraging risk-taking and embracing failures. We will go through many leadership development models so that we can cultivate and improve, enhance your leadership skills as a CFO for future. Thank you so much. Back to you.
Thank you, Rania. And the third module is about merger and acquisition. So Ahmed, can you give us a quick brief about it?
Yes, Mohammed, thank you all. Under the part of the M&A of the course, we're gonna cover the whole M&A process from the perspective of the seller and the buyer, as we will consider the difference between the strategic acquirer and the private equity venture capitals, or what we usually call the financial sponsor. We're gonna explore the whole transaction process, starting from the deal strategy till the conclusion and closing of the deal, passing through the strategy, conduct for the deal, and making the investment decision. What the key consideration needs to be into mind. Also, we will go deep into the due diligence process, work done, key finding, reflection in the SP&A. Also, we're gonna cover the part relating to the closing mechanism into the transaction, which is the ultimate or the most fit closing mechanism, that lockbox accounts or the completion accounts. This is all very technical things that needs to be discussed and considered during negotiation during the deal. Also, we will cover the role of the CFO into all of this, and the different parts, if from the side of the legal aspects, tax aspects, and any other consultant or subject matter expertise. Under the M&A, the main skill that we're gonna acquire is making the investment decision of the company, think strategically, and have to manage the whole process from the start to the end. Yeah, thank you, Mohammed.
Thank you, Ahmed. And the last two modules is about digital transformation. So as a CFO, you need to leverage technology to work more agile, more efficient in your organization. And as you see, there is a high demand for the CFOs who understand technology, understand digital transformation and analytics. So in this module, we're gonna learn many things about digital transformation, how to lead a digital transformation project in your company, how to leverage generative AI and ChatGPT and other generative AI tools to work more efficient. We're gonna learn also about the FP&A transformation. We're gonna learn RPA, we're gonna learn cybersecurity, data analytics. So there are many good and important aspects related to digital transformation. In the module 5, last but not least, we're gonna learn data storytelling, how to set KPIs for your organization, how to build a performance management system in your organization. Also, we're gonna cover the ESG and sustainability reporting. So I believe the program is very comprehensive, covering all the areas that the CFOs need. And if any one of you is interested, please reach out to our business development team. This is our contact information for our team. So bd@hoft.academy, or use the WhatsApp number 569254680. And the program is starting on Saturday, November 30th, in 2 weeks. So if anyone interested, please reach out to our team by email or by WhatsApp, and they will give you all the needed information. With that, we're gonna leave the floor. If anyone has any questions, any question from anyone, please leave it in the chat box or in the Q&A, and we will be able to answer your question. Okay, so I don't see any questions in the chat. So with that, I would like to conclude our webinar, and I would like to thank all of our trainers and our panelists today, Dr. Ahmed Ghazi, Dr. Rania, Leila, and Dr. Islam, and looking forward to seeing you in the future webinars. Thank you very much, and have a good evening.